Chris Lovell here with the head coach of the Lubbock-Cooper Pirates, Chip Darden. This is another edition of Pirate Talk. And again, thanks to our sponsor, Texas Tech Federal Credit Union, that's sponsoring these podcasts. We certainly appreciate those folks over there. This was a game that, most people observing it from outside thought this is going to be a close game. It's going to at one point it's 38-7. I don't know if this is what you were expecting, but this was, is it fair to say, most complete game that you guys had all year?
Yeah, I think for sure. I don't know about expecting. We think highly of our team, and we have high expectations, but it kind of all came together Friday night, and thought it was by far our best performance, and just proud because and it's the coaches say it a lot, but all three phases had a big part in it, and that's what's big. Like, first drive of the game, we get 3 and out, and we kind of move the ball, but then stall out, and we have to kick a 47-yard field goal. That's a pretty big deal, and make it like nothing. But I think that was kind of a big momentum play, and anyway, all thrhree phases just were huge in that game, and Amarillo High is one of the most storied programs, and that was talked about a lot last week, that they, I think, all-time wins, their second any classification in the state of Texas, and just a lot of tradition. So for us to do that up there on their home field, I think was a big deal and a big momentum boost for our guys.
You've got a field goal kicker that does a lot, that just makes it look normal and routine, and a holder and snapper, and all that goes with that. The weather. At what point in the week did you know maybe a bit different up there? Yeah. Maybe a bit, whether it's the cold, whether it's the rain, whether it's the wind, or a combination of all three. What?
Well, our coaching staff has a saying there. We always talk about it. If we're going to Amarillo, you have to bring a jacket. It doesn't matter if the high's 103. You better bring a jacket when you're going to Amarillo. So we kind of knew that. Knew it'd be colder than maybe than it looked, but the rain, is a different factor. And again, our guys adapt and adjust to that. No big deal, but it took us taking. Shout out to our ball boys. They did a really good job. Carter Catwinkle, Will Culpepper, and there's about 6 of them that rotate through there, but did a really good job because we take about 4 to 6 footballs. We took about 18 and had trash bags and towels and all that stuff. But I don't know. There was a reporter, one of the Amarillo reporters asked me after the game, well, did it change y'all's game plan, once that rain started falling? I kind of laughed like, man, we'll take that weather all day. That's our brand of football. That's we liked it. I thought our kids had fun in it, and it was obviously when you're on the good side of it, it's more fun. But I think our style of football, it doesn't really matter. It travels.
Do you ever practice with wet footballs and stuff like that? Like, are you just kind of?
Yeah, we really don't. Okay. And I know some people do that. Some people, when it gets cold, they'll dip the footballs in an ice bath, and there'll be practices that it'll be wet, and we'll keep practicing. That, but we don't mess with that too much.
What is Chip Darden's attire choices when it becomes cold and wet and windy? Do you just kind of, because from my observations, you just kind of roll the same outfit. You don't really adjust. Am I wrong there?
Well, I'm going to be comfortable. I can tell you that. Yeah, and we tell our kids, like, I think there's 2 schools of thought with coaches. You got some of them that are like, no, kids, you can't wear long sleeves. We got to be tough, and that's not our staff. I don't think a kid that's freezing cold is going to play very well in a football game. So
shocker. Yeah.
So we tell them, as long as it doesn't restrict their movement, as long as I don't have sleeves that are slippery when I handle the ball, things like that, be comfortable. Wear whatever makes you comfortable. Same thing on my end. I'm not going to sit there and freeze my tail off just to try to look tough. So I had more layers on the other night than maybe it looked like.
Okay. Yeah. So see, it was a trick, because from the outsider, it's just like, man, rolling with the same deal. Okay.
No, I was warm.
Okay. Do you like games like that, though? What kind of weather is it? Because football is the one sport, baseball kind of, I guess, but football is the one sport where weather can really change the dynamic of the way the game is played. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned style kind of suits the way you guys play, but like going to take the win in the first half or first quarter, right, and all that stuff. Do you like all that stuff? Because there's a whole strategy to it.
Yeah, I think if we've got 8 out of 10 Friday nights that are like that. I probably don't.
But every once in a while.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
rare.
fair.
And I think this season in particular, and I think last season was too, but it's been hot. And, I mean, kickoff, I think Tommy Wood said that Friday night was the first kickoff that was under 90 degrees. And so that was kind of refreshing. That
He's
it
a
was
big
cool.
weather guy.
Yeah.
He's
he
always,
is.
yeah. He tried to talk me into 87 degrees being a temperature difference. I was like, really? Not that much different. But
I'm on your side, Tommy. I'm a weather guy too, man.
That's right. Follows it very closely. You threw the ball really well early in this game. I thought Tyler, maybe we don't talk enough about him. You've wanted you guys to be able to throw it better. 7 of 9, doesn't throw it a ton, but it was extremely effective.
Yeah, and that was a goal of ours going in, that we wanted to throw it early. We have a 10-play script that we don't always stay on, but ideally we kind of stick to those early in the game, and we had some passes scripted in there that we executed, and able to get. What I was proud of is we got a lot of different receivers touches out of those also, and but then I thought the best part of our passing game was that 2-minute drive, and that was a perfect. It's 17-7 at that point. We get the ball back right at about 2.5 minutes left, and we knew we were getting the ball. So you're kind of at that, we're on our own 30 maybe, and you're kind of at that stage of the game where you want to be somewhat conservative because we're getting the ball after half, but at the same time, if we can go score and we get the ball right back, it's just that's the reason we like to defer a whole lot, is you can get that double possession. And so I think he went 3 for 3 on that drive, with 2 of them being downfield throws, just big plays. And I've said it, we've got confidence. We've got receivers that are really good. We're confident in Tyler, and you just we want to take what the defense gives us. And right now those boxes are starting to get a little heavier. We're getting defensive backs that are in the run fit a little bit, so we've got to be able to throw it, and I think we've got confidence in doing it, and it was nice to see us execute that.
Did this game really change at the end of the first quarter when Landon Doris picked that pass off and scored?
Yeah, I think we give that game changer award and gave that to Landon. That was, I think, the play of the game. Because again, it's 10-0. Like, we feel good. It was a good start. Our offense coming off of Coronado game that we didn't play well. We could feel it clicking first 2 drives. Felt good about it, but I mean, you just know you're in a dogfight there, and then that pick 6, I think the momentum just really, really shifted in that game.
Body language changes a little bit on both sides, and those are backbreakers. And it's early enough in the game, but I mean, it's just it looked like your team. I used to work with a coach years ago that would say, "Man, be the most excited team to play," and it looked like your team was that.
Yeah, I think we were. And it again, a focus all week that we thought Coronado was a little more excited to play the week before, and so it was. I think that's what our guys understand right now in our district, and we've talked about it over and over and over. But in our district, you show up and you don't play well, you're going to get beat.
We're about to talk
most
about
of
it
the
more
time.
here in a second.
Yeah,
I mean,
so that was. I think sometimes you need that, and our guys again, same thing this week. We've been talking about it. Been talking about Abilene High, and anyway, I just thought they handled it well. And that's the thing about the weather. You get out to a fast start, and we knew the weather was going to come in at some point. Well, when you're on the good side of it and the weather comes in, it's body language gets better. Everybody's having a good time, and if you're on the other side, it can be kind of demoralizing. So, just overall, a great night, great program up there that I think is a playoff team, and we just played our best game of the year, and that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, again, the final score 38-21, but I don't think that really tells the story. I mean, it was 38-7, and then some of that weather got the best of you at the very end of the game. But I thought, too, a guy that we haven't talked about a lot in the past 2 or 3 weeks, he's been a bit dinged up, but I thought Kaden Chambers was very impressive looking and ran really hard. We'll talk about the O-line here in a minute, but nice to see him back in there and running hard.
Yeah, it really was. And he just kind of battled through a couple little nagging, nothing too serious, but he understands it. Probably for anybody that just watches, you're like, well, it's easy running back. You just go where the hole is, but there's a process to it. There's a process to your angle, when you can stick your foot and get vertical, and Caden's really good at that. And he was really close. We kind of laughing at him. He a couple times tripped over our own lineman's feet. Just he saw the hole, but he was really close to, I think, having 2 really long big play touchdowns. But man, he was consistent, and he was a big part of our running game.
Yeah, you'll always love that consistency. Kaden Stanzioni scores a touchdown. Jackson
Yep.
Austin ran hard as well. I want to make sure we mention that. But yeah, you mentioned a big win for you guys, and it really sets up as we look at the district standings. That was this little 2 week stretch you're in is really kind of the groundwork for if you can kind of win this district, or if you're kind of you're on the outside looking in. These are big games.
Yeah, they are.
That was one to have in your back pocket that will pay off. Now we look at the next one, and Abilene High is 2-1 in the district. Overall record 3-4. Not so fast.
Yeah.
As Lee Corso would say, 2-1 in the district, and if they beat you, you're tied in district, and so all the other stuff doesn't even matter. So I know that's it's a big one too.
Yeah, it's really big, and they're kind of the same. It's pretty crazy. Looking at our history, I don't know that we've played these two historic programs in the same year, much less back to back. Abilene High's got 7 state championships in their history, and that's and I think I mentioned Amarillo High was second all time in wins. Abilene High is like right around 15. Just historic program. They won a state championship in 2009, so it's not like they won them all back in the 40s or something like that. Recent success. So just a program that's been playing 6A. They dropped down to 5A, and they're just. If you look at that 3-4 record, kind of what we said about Amarillo High too, they were 3-3. But if you look at that record and think, they're not very good, you're going to be wrong.
Well, go look at who they lost to.
Yeah, they lost to Permian, Midland Legacy, just really good teams that they lost to. So, I think the interesting part of them is they if we have the weather, it doesn't look like it, but if we have the weather that we did Friday night, I think they relish in that too. And I think this might be an hour and a half game, so be pretty quick. They kind of play like we do, and they play defense, and we say that a lot. We like to play defense around here. That this day and age, you hear more about offenses, but we like to play defense. And Abilene High is the same way. Coach Fullen, those guys play hard and they play really good defense. So you're right. I think it really matters. We've told our guys that you put yourself in a position to play for something, which is an awesome deal this time of year. There's a lot of schools that you get down to the wire and you don't have anything to play for, and they're playing for something every week now, and playoff spots, seeding, district championships, things like that. And it's a fun time of year, and the word grind gets used all the time. And our guys heard me talk about it. I think it was Monday after practice, but man, this isn't a grind. This is fun. This is the time of year that it's fun. They come out every day and have fun with their guys, and we just want to keep winning and give ourselves a chance to extend the season.
Winning is fun too.
It is.
Winning is it's like a drug, man. Give me more. And you look at the district standings. We were talking about that, but like Tascosa's sitting there at the top at 3-0. Okay, and they're really good and they're ranked really high and all that, but they played Monterey this past week, and that game is a one-score game early in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And so you're thinking, okay, a team that hadn't gotten a win and versus a team that's maybe the best one, and that just speaks to your point.
Yep. I think that you plug in any team right there, and you look at Amarillo High and Tascosa game. You look at, I think you could put any game up there. You look at the Caprock Coronado, and just all the way through. The team that's ready to play is going to have a chance, and the team that kicks it around, turns it over, you're going to be in trouble in this district. So sometimes that's tough. Well, I think we said it last week, but for us, we want to make the playoffs. That's something that we want to do. That's an expectation. This helps you. You come out flat in the playoffs where you're turning stuff in on Saturday morning. So it being in a district like this, we hope helps us if we're fortunate enough to get in the playoffs. That we've got to be ready every week. You can't have an off week, can't have an off day, and I think our guys have been around it enough that they're used to it, hopefully, and kind of understand how that process works.
Yeah, if you could wish for anything for your team right now in this kind of race, it's almost like I want them to be disciplined and mature.
Right.
Because if they are that, they're going to understand what it takes week in and week out.
Yep,
and,
that's right.
And all those things. I happen to be there with you whenever you announced some of these awards to your team. I thought it was kind of fun to see this side of it. Scout Team Awards, we've talked about that some on this show as we week to week and all that. I thought some of the loudest cheers from their fellow peers and teammates were for J.J. Goldwater and Emmett Jones.
Yep.
The offensive Scout Team Player of the Week and the defensive Scout Team Player of the Week. That's, to me, that's culture. That's what you want. That's maturity. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. But talk to me about those two guys.
Yeah, JJ has been in the program for a long time, and just man shows up every day, works hard, and does a good job. The guys like him. He gets along with everybody in the locker room. Just a program guy. So really proud of him. He did a good job giving a look last week, and then Emmett, is new to us and has really just bought into what we're doing. And same thing with him. He kind of had a tough time early finding a role, and now he's starting on 3 special teams and just giving the team everything he's got. And then I love it when a guy will step in and maybe hadn't played as much as he wants on one side of the ball, but he goes out on scout team and it's 100%. He's giving everything he's got, and just great kids. Those two also, like they're just great members of our school, our community. I think they represent us really well.
Love that. So Abilene High on Friday night, 7 o'clock. Tickets still available. Make sure you get this. It's a big game, folks. Make sure you're there. This guy, his team, they need you there. This is a big one. It's middle school night too.
Yep.
Take me through kind of how important it is to kind of recognize those youngers that they're going to be playing for you in some years.
Well, first on the tickets being available, that was kind of mentioned it last week, and I told our guys this to talk to the students and everything. And I know when our fans see Friendship, Coronado, Ryder, like those pop out. When our schedule came out, the 2 that I circled were Abilene High and Tascosa. Like those are going to be huge games. Just knowing tradition, knowing what those guys have coming back. So really big game Friday night. Hope everybody can make it out. It's supposed to be, the weather's not supposed to be like last week. So come on out.
Be much nicer.
My wife and kids, I think, will enjoy that a little bit better with the better weather. But no, middle school night it's fun, and those guys, I like them kind of being around our pregame and getting to be around the guys. And they're at a weird time right now with the new high school opening, and kind of normally we're talking right now about Laura Bush and middle school. Hey, we're gonna come together eventually. We're gonna do all this. Well, they're split even there, and it's just a different time for them. It's kind of the initial year of doing this is going to be tough until they figure it out. Yeah. But I think it's also important for them to understand we want kids playing football. We want kids doing. We think it helps them. Any extracurricular, being involved in something, just think it helps them as human beings and learning a whole bunch of. I mean, we could sit here for a long time and talk about what I think they learn being a part of the program, and that's what we mainly want. And just want them getting some recognition for what they do. They don't get to have podcast. We could, I guess. We could have us a middle school podcast. Hey, Coach Douglas, Coach Sanchez they'd be a lot more interesting than me. But a lot of times they don't get the recognition, and those guys are practicing every single day and doing a good job. So we just want to recognize them. So if everybody wants to come out a little early too, at about 6:30, they'll get recognized.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys do that. And you mentioned that 9 starters back, or 9 senior starters for this Abilene High defense, and they're not the biggest crew, but boy, they run, they play fast. I mean, you'll appreciate so each scorer is going to be a big deal in this one. So yeah.
It is, and I think a fast start matters. Getting off to a fast start, and I think you could probably say that every game, but it really matters in a game like this.
Okay. All right, let's go to we'll wrap this up and then go to some rapid fire questions. You ready?
Okay. Let's do it.
I heard, as a matter of fact, earlier today, you dislike the Beatles. You hate the Beatles. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm trying. I wonder who. Oh, Coach Ramby maybe told you that. I'm trying to figure out who told me.
Maybe.
I respect the Beatles.
Okay.
I do not listen to the Beatles.
Okay.
I respect.
I mean, I don't have an opinion. He said that y'all have gone round and round about
I'm a Stones.
Covers.
I'm a Stones and Led Zeppelin guy, man.
Yeah. We know that about Led Zeppelin. You've mentioned that on this thing before, but yeah, he. I think the question I asked him was, "What's the last person you gave a standing ovation for?" And he thought about it. And he was like, Paul McCartney. I was like, well, man, that's an easy guy to, that's a legend and all that stuff. But anyways, your name came up and your anti-Beatles sentiment came up there.
That's pretty good.
Hardest thing about being a dad is what?
Oh man,
because you're the father of 3.
Yeah,
and they're all fairly young.
Yep.
And you're kind of figuring this thing out, as we all as parents do, on how to. underparent, overparent. I mean, it can be a circus.
That's what I would say. Being consistent, like,
Oh, yeah.
that's the hard part, and especially with it's hard. Me and the 3-year-old butt heads a little bit, so being consistent there. But it's fun. Every day's fun. Probably you need to ask Stacy that question because she's the one doing all the parenting right now during football season. I'll maybe help out a little bit.
You
when
take
we're
a
done.
break, during that's funny. That's funny. Okay, when Chip Darden is in charge of ordering pizza, what goes on it?
Meat. Every
carnivore.
Every pizza has cheese.
Right.
So you shouldn't order a cheese pizza ever.
I completely agree.
Okay.
Cheese pizza is a giant waste of time.
Yeah, I will say if it's
what are we doing?
If it's just for me, we're gonna get some exotic stuff. We're gonna get peppers, jalapenos.
Okay, so you're going
pineapple.
to Supreme.
We'll put some pineapple on there. I know.
Wow, major letdown there. I'm judging you. I just want you to know I'm judging you. Fruit doesn't belong on pizza. That's just my stance. Pineapple. God, what are we doing?
I don't like pineapple by itself, but I like it on pizza. Okay. Next.
I don't know if we can continue. Yeah, you know what? I'd rather eat candy corn, which I think is the most garbage thing ever, than I would pineapple on pizza.
It might be good on pizza though.
The ideal temperature for a game is what? Because we talked about hot.
Can we add in other conditions?
Okay, sure.
Like if it's
there's
not
no
windy.
rules. There's no rules here
okay.
other than we don't put fruit on pizza.
If it's not windy,
okay,
55 degrees.
Okay, so you do just like a brisk kind of fall.
Yeah, you got to wear a long sleeve.
Oh yeah, like a football weather.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I got you. No.
Now if it's pretty windy, we'll up that a little bit.
yeah, because the wind will take it out of you. You'll never live in either place, but I'm curious if you're forced to. If you have to live in L.A. or New York, which one would you live in?
Man. Yeah, you're right.
Me neither. I'm just curious.
Probably New York, and I don't really know. I've spent a little more time in New York. Been to LA once, and it was for a game. Like we were in San Diego, drove there, drove back for a Dodgers game. Yeah, but I would say New York. But man, I don't want any part of either one.
Yeah, I mean, you get a Dodger dog.
I don't have a yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
When I followed baseball more, I was a Dodger fan.
Your sister wanted me to ask you this, and we had asked you some form. What?
Well, is it like you said? Anything's on the table. Can we cut her questions out from here on out?
It was an okay question. Colton, who takes care of us on these podcasts, so was there too. But she said, "Ask him what is superstition." I said, "We already have." She's like, "What about if it's superstition that has nothing to do with football or sports or whatever? Do you have something you're superstitious or just like in life or routine in life that you're like, okay, if this is out of whack, man, kind of throws me off."
Yeah, not necessarily in life, but I mean with sports, I am 100%. And you can ask anybody that's around me. But like last year, Tech basketball run, like we started doing good when I was sitting here and standing up on defense and sitting down. So I'm moving all over the place. And finally,
thinking that they get all because of what you're doing.
Yeah, it wasn't anything that Mark Adams was doing. And I'm that way about like Coach Bacchus today. We have a schedule and a script that we have for practice, and I had it ready. I don't even remember what time, 8 o'clock, but I was like, I can't print them. Coach Bacchus prints those. I mean, it's just as easy for me to hit print, but he's printed them for the last several weeks. We've been winning, so he's got to print them.
Don't mess up with the mojo,
That's
man.
Right.
Yeah.
But in outside of sports, I'm not very superstitious.
Okay, but you kind of are in some ways though, because I mean that's how I'm the same way. I mean. You know, it is kind of sports and life kind of blends together and some of that stuff, and we all think we affect everything based on But best video game of all time.
Oh, Tecmo Super Bowl, not even close.
Like
man.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
like
you
the
could
Raiders.
be the and not Tecmo Bowl, Tecmo Super Bowl.
Okay, that's different. Yeah, there is a difference.
Oh, the 49ers, you were cheating if you got them. You couldn't. But I'll tell you who I liked was the Chiefs, Christian Okoye.
You couldn't tackle him. Yeah. Not really fair. Yeah,
that's not even close.
Nigerian nightmare.
There's not another correct answer than that. Just so you know.
Let's see here. If you could have, this is the last one. This is a fun one. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh my. I maybe fly.
Okay, ability to fly.
Yeah,
I mean, you can read minds. You can be invisible. You can breathe underwater.
I don't think I'd want to read people's minds. Like y'all, you two right now. I don't think I really want to know what y'all think.
That's very fair. Because you don't want to know what I'm thinking.
Yeah. No. But flying would be that'd be nice. I I don't like going and being in the car.
Make it easy on you.
Yeah.
There you go. See, you never know what you're going to get here on Pirate Talk, man. We talk pizza and Superpower.
Get more nervous
and football.
Rapid fire questions than a game. Let's get to Friday
There
night.
we go.
I won't even be nervous.
There we go. Well, that's a good job, Coach. Well, we'll see you. Let's see, Friday night, 7:00, Abilene High. It's a big game. Please be there. Tickets available. We're cashless, so make sure you purchase tickets ahead of time. There's links everywhere on the Sports U, on YouTube, on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you go check that out, and we'll see you Friday night. Thank you, Coach, for being here. Man.
Appreciate
That's
it.
Another edition of Pirate Talk.
Sir.